Welcome to the Sunday Corner. I'm so thrilled you decided to click my link and be with me here today. For those of you who have been with me before, welcome back. And for those of you who just happened to stumble upon me for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Now, let me let you know, first of all, this is not how I generally tape the Sunday Corner. It is a little bit different. I decided to take the show on the road literally, and I'm at a local Starbucks. And part of the reason why is because earlier this week on one of my Facebook channels, I think Chatone Morrison Consulting, I went live for just a couple of minutes, and I was celebrating the idea of having an empty seat on the other side of me. Now, for those of you who are moms, wives, you have big families, you're committed in many ways, even to your businesses, you know that being able to kind of steal a few moments away to yourself is really important. Notice I used the word steal. We're going to get back to that in just a little bit. Sometimes to get a starlit experience, you have to learn how to dine alone. Confident women do that. This morning I decided to take a moment to myself. My husband is still sleeping and my kids are at home. Sometimes it's really important that you just take a moment to yourself. Sometimes you'll look at a woman and you'll see her dining alone and you'll think, oh, does that mean she doesn't have anyone? Oh, does she feel sad? But confident women know that that moment to yourself, to rejuvenate, to refresh, to get yourself ready, not just for the whole entire week, but for the next moment, is really vital and important. So I'm taking that time for myself today. I hope that you have enough confidence to do the exact same thing. You know, as women, one of the things that we tend to do is we tend to put ourselves last. And I've talked about this before on this channel. I've talked about the fact that we don't take care of ourselves the way that we should, that we put our self-care last, that we forget to put ourselves on the list. But the bottom line is you need to be on the list. And this is not about a resolution. This is not about, oh, we're going into 2018, we're going to do things differently. I need you to start today. I need you to start today. Right away in the Sunday Corner, I want you to start right away in the Sunday Corner, taking a few minutes to yourself, celebrating the fact that you have the right to do that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about empty seat syndrome. Empty seat syndrome is something I coined this week. And what it basically means is those feelings that you get when you're by yourself. Now, I know for myself, when I was in corporate and I was traveling all the time, I was often in a restaurant by myself. It became very comfortable. I brought a book. It was awesome. I turned my phone off. I didn't do email. And I spent that time to kind of rebuild myself. But the more that I worked at home, I found myself not doing that as much. And for many moms, we just don't do that. We don't give ourselves that time, or we feel that it's stealing. So I'm going to talk about 3 particular ways that you can view this time that you spend and why it's so important and what it does for you. So the very first way that we're going to debunk what this time is to realize that when you spend time by yourself, it's actually an intentional act. Now, I'm going to tell you, people do look at you funny. Try going to a Starbucks, talking into your phone by a headset, and using a tripod on a table. They're going to look at you a little funny. I don't care. I'm used to that. But the thing is that it's not so much that no one said yes. It's that you said yes to you. And I want you to think about that for a moment. When you think about being a confident woman, when you think about being a positively confident, when you see PC, right? It doesn't just stand for political correctness. When you think about truly being a positively confident woman, it has a lot to do with how you feel when you're getting things done, not just getting them done. So this is an intentional act. It's not something you're just going to check off your list or say, okay, I tried it and now I can move on to the next thing. You have to do it a few times. You're going to notice that people might look at you. You may say like, well, no one could go with her. She doesn't have a partner. She doesn't have a girlfriend. Like, what's the deal? But in actuality, it's an intentional act. And it's an intentional act for your good. It's an intentional act that's a gift. And when you think about a gift, you always want to give a gift in a loving way. You don't give a gift with an insult. So I want you to think of this time as your intentional act of you saying yes to yourself. And when you do that over time, you're going to notice that you want to do it more. And you actually build you and your family up. So think of it as a gift, not just to yourself, but also to your family. Okay, here's number 2. To do and not to do. That is the question. That's number 2. That rhymes. You have a tendency when you have someone on the other side of the table to fill in with a lot of, empty talk sometimes. If it's with your spouse or, the person you're committed to, you might have a lot of love talk in there. You might be talking about your future or plans and things like that. It can seem like free time, but it can also feel like work. When you're spending this time by yourself, though, there's not a lot of, there's no other noise to kind of fill in. And a lot of times you find yourself looking at other people, comparing yourself to others. The talk starts to get super duper negative, and we're gifted at that as women. We just know how to get down on ourselves. We know how to make it negative, and that's not what this is about. This is about you speaking internally with your self-talk as kindly as you possibly can. It takes practice. It takes practice. It takes practice. A lot of times when you don't have anyone there to kind of cut the noise, then the noise comes from inside your own mind, and you do find yourself comparing or speaking down to yourself. So because we're doing an intentional act, and it's an act of kindness, then I want you to learn how to speak kind to yourself. You deserve to do that. You have to speak kind to yourself. And, if you think about it from this way, talk to yourself the way that you would want someone to talk to your daughter. Now, I know if you're a mom, you get mad at your daughter. I have a 15-year-old. Sometimes it's like, I'm not talking about that. But how would you want someone else to treat her? And that's the way that you have to figure out how to treat yourself when you're spending this time. Talk to yourself in kind ways. Make plans if you want to, or just sit still and enjoy that time that you're able to have by yourself. When you're having this time, it doesn't mean it has to be hours on end. Most of us don't have hours on end. It can be short snippets of time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. This time right here that I'm spending is probably only going to be about 30 or 40 minutes, but it's enough to have my little cup of tea, have some peach tea going on there, and I wrote some notes because I like to journal when I get time like this, and I get some of my best ideas, and it's refreshing for me. It's like a refreshing time, and I'm seriously like, this is my notebook. I'm taking notes, not just for this broadcast, but for me, just to think about things. It's where I get some of my fresh, good ideas when I spend that time by myself. So again, it's not about stealing away. It's about giving. And it's not about spending that time filling it in with negativity. And it's not just because no one said yes. It's because I said yes. All right, does that make sense? I hope it makes sense to you. Okay, so here's the third one. I love this one. If you're going to enjoy this time and you're going to know that you want to put it on the calendar and you want everyone to know about it and respect it, you're going to have to reframe it. Now, we were talking a little bit before about stealing time away. Men don't talk like that. When men need their time, they go into their cave, they do what they have to do. They never think that they're stealing time away from the family. But as women, that's how we feel. So you're not stealing. Okay, so let's reframe that. Maybe as opposed to just saying that you're going to spend time by yourself, maybe you can call it personal time. Okay, if it was personal time, then we might say that it's PT. All right, so let's go ahead and throw a little spin on that. If you have a problem like I had last year or for the past 2 years with my ankle, physical therapy became a part of my life. Needing to put that on the calendar, going to the chiropractor, going to the orthopedist, spending that time in therapy was really important. No one questioned that. They didn't say, oh my goodness, you're going to physical therapy again? I can't believe it. You're going to PT again? No one questioned that. They knew I needed that. It's the same thing with your personal time. You need it. You have sustained an injury. What's the injury? Work, driving, dealing with your kids, your spouse sometimes, dealing with life. We've sustained an injury. And so you need PT. No one's going to question that if you give it a priority. And again, we're not talking about stealing away hours and hours and hours from the family. We're talking about giving yourself nuggets of time to replenish, to rejuvenate, like what you do here in the Sunday Corner every week. Hopefully it's every week. What you get here, spending that time to just get yourself together makes such a big difference. So it's not about feeling guilty. Guilt is for like somebody else. You don't have to feel guilty about this. You're in the process of taking care of yourself to make yourself better. I did a recording a couple of weeks ago when I took myself out to a show. I haven't put it up yet, but I hopefully will do that. But you know what I learned during that one? People do look, all right? But it was an intentional act. I didn't ask anyone to go. It was an intentional act. I went by myself. I blessed myself with that. And so it was a gift to me, and I felt amazing. And I came home and I was able to give more to my family, and I was more. And so I absolutely love doing that, an intentional act. And then it's like what to do and what not to do. Okay, during this time, it's a blessing, it's a gift. So you're not comparing yourself to others. You're not saying, well, she's got a man and I don't. She had a bunch of girlfriends and they had fun and I didn't. That's not it. You're taking care of yourself. And you're not stealing, and it's not about guilt. You're blessing yourself. You're blessing your family. And so therefore, this is your personal time. This is your PT. It's something that's needed to heal up your injuries. And when you're going to get an injury every single day, someone's going to say something or do something, or you're going to say something or do something, and you're going to need that time to heal. So I hope that you are ready to get this started. Now, I'm not going to give you a challenge today. No challenges this week. But think about it. When is the next time that you can take a few moments out, put them on the calendar, and go ahead and give yourself the gift of the intentional act of personal time? When do you plan to get over empty seat syndrome? Because there's nothing wrong with spending time by yourself. Confident women do dine alone. If you've ever thought about working with a coach, or you'd like to be a part of some of the programs that I'm bringing out for 2018, I would love an opportunity to talk to you. I'm scheduling it currently for coaching strategy sessions where we will spend about 20 minutes talking to each other, and I can let you know how I might be able to help you with one of my programs or one of my group coaching programs or one-on-one coaching. You know, what I know for sure is that we all have confidence and positivity inside of us, but many times we have to release the negativity first so the positivity can reign. I hope that you enjoyed this broadcast, and I will throw up a slide at the end to let you know how you can contact me and how we can work together. Until we speak again, remember this: be authentic, be brilliant, and absolutely be the catalyst. Bye.